Okay, I am back with my wood panel that I built. Back to I had an earlier video that showed how, looking for inspiration for my next painting, I decided to follow the wood grain on this beautiful birchwood sanded panel. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit of information on there. But close up, I decided that an accidental drip could be happening again and again through the painting. It's pretty balanced. So I'm going to expand on the drips. And I don't know if you can see this tiny little line here. Let's see. I think I'll start with a white and then paint it over. No, maybe not a white. Let's just go back to the gold structure of this painting. Remember when I drew the lines from the grain of the wood? I used gold, and I've got quinacridone gold there. I've got some vermilion that kind of got lost underneath the ensuing layers. So this layer, I'm going to change the drawing. So each of these drips are going to have little halos of drawing. And I'm going to be pretty consistent. I think I'm going to treat them all the same way. So I'm drawing a double line over the other painting, disregarding the wood grain. But that's kind of a lie, because what I'm going to do is leave some of it there. So I'm drawing two lines around each of the drips that have little halos. And I'm going to start with the first. That might be interesting how that turned out. Pay attention. So it's going to block out the painting underneath a little bit as I go. These are just random shapes and sort of not blocking out the super interesting things from underneath, but some of them. Okay, so it's not precious. You gotta tell yourself when you're doing art, if you're gonna get your feelings hurt, stop when you think it's awesome. But if it doesn't hurt your feelings to change your mind, I mean, this could be fascinating to one or two people on this planet, I don't know, just the way it is. But I'm in the studio thinking about pushing and changing my mind about the way I used to paint. I mean, there's just no rules, really. Except for this rule, or focus, let's just say, is for me to learn to change my mind about the way I think. So, there's another drip. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to block out the old painting. Now I need a new bucket. Okay. Yeah. Stand by. We're still going to have our session. I've always got some buckets around here left over from my favorite is applesauce cups. I love these because the neat thing is when you paint with acrylic, since this is plastic and it's contained, you can use it and then peel it out of there when it's dry and use it again. So, like this one is still really wet from yesterday. And it's kind of a waste of paint, but I'm not prepared to paint with more of this color today. It has to change. I have to change my mind. See, we're changing. So I'm going to let this dry, and then tomorrow or next week or something, I'll peel it out of there and use it for something else. Okay. So we get an opaque situation going by adding white to other colors. And getting the color wheel out, I've got some complementary colors going on, and this little family of colors over here with a little bit of this across here. So I'm thinking maybe purple and this family over here and lavender. So the darks and lights and influenced by purple. So let's see if I can find some purple in my stash, which is always interesting around this house because I love purple. Oh, here's some. Okay, so we're gonna have a base of white and oh, that's too pink. That's gonna turn pink. Let's try this. Mix my color. Once a year, I buy a whole box of paint. And I've had them for several years. So here's the top. It's upside down. It's Liquid-X Basics. And it comes with 48 colors and a color chart on the outside. It's been several years, over and over. I buy them once a year to add to the paint. I think this brush should be good. I'm going to use the handle to mix it. I like this. You're going, no, don't do it. Don't do it. It's too yuck. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to just say, okay, this is bizarre, but let's do it anyway and see what happens. So I'm going in between my two lines. We'll start over here. I am blocking out the painting underneath with this lavender, or whatever you want to call it. I think this is going to be a fascinating little experiment because my brain is already making decisions on future mixes. See, I always start with a base, and that's what I did with the underpainting. I started out with the ultramarine blue, but then I swung right on over to the phthalo side of the blues. Because when you mix with ultramarine blue, it's not as influential in making changes unless you put a lot in there to your blacks and your grays. And I just think that wasn't going to do it for me. So I eliminated a bunch of the ultramarine blue influenced colors throughout here with the gray, influenced by the phthalo blue. This is ultramarine blue, this is phthalo blue. This will have a tendency to be going to the purple side of the color wheel in the blue family. And this swings towards the green side of the blue. Yeah. Okay. I'm so excited about this. Leap of switching it up so that I stay engaged and focused almost subconsciously and unwillingly. My brain goes, oh, yes, change your mind. There's no rules. It's okay. Disobey. What you might think is going to ruin it, it doesn't matter. It's not precious. Unless somebody comes along and just takes it away from you and puts it on their wall, which more people need to do that, because when I do leave this planet and my human body, there's going to be several hundred paintings that are going to come out. And then what do? The world is going to have to deal with this dead old lady's artwork. So it would be better if you help my kids out and take a look around at my gallery. And right now, it's an online gallery. I'm hoping for art openings to happen again. But I'm just not comfortable yet going inside buildings with hundreds of people that are risk takers, because these people that are out there now are the ones that say, I'm going out and we're going to see if I come back healthy or not. I'm checking. Alright. I already like the fact that there's not going to be any of it over there yet. It's going to evolve over there because of the way these are going to crowd each other. But the underpainting is still there, so all that work I put there is going to pay off because the background is interesting and full of information. There's different ways of looking at this. It is wood, but it reminds me of water entering the ocean from rivers, bringing what they have to the ocean to feed our fish. And the fish are like super important for feeding the planet. in each other. There's just so much that our water is responsible for. So, anyway, that's what the background reminds me of. So, for some reason, my mind says, okay, there's an interruption to that thinking. By what we do to the water, or over the water, or through the water. And I'm drawing these blobs really big, but for some reason the thought of microplastics enters my mind, because that seems to be not only the big stuff floating around on the top and the islands of trash, which these could be islands of trash. Microfibers floating around in the water. This paint might make you feel like there's too much pink, but for some reason pink has been one of my most favorite colors to use. Maybe because I'm a pink person. If you really want to know, I don't feel white, I feel pink. So if I go out in the sun, my skin just turns pink and red, and you know. Anyway, that lavender looks really good with my skin color. So this makes me feel good. This will make me feel good to have it in my environment. I have several paintings that have lavenders and pinks. And I would tell you, when I was younger and a snotty little kid, I used to think pink was the most plastic, fake color in the world. Because I think of the dollies and stuff my sisters played with. See, I didn't really have a dolly, but I sewed clothes for them. I had 8 sisters, and we were taught how to embroider and sew growing up. I think most of us can run a sewing machine. I had a sewing business for many years, making custom draperies and home fashions for interior designers and furniture stores. So, I mean, I think you can even Google Stephanie's workroom. And I started that a long time ago. Anyway, I don't do that anymore because I have terrible carpal tunnel, which seems to affect my hands, wrist, and neck. Repetitive sewing. Believe me, miles of fabric. I sewed miles. Somewhere in the world there's inventory books of how many yards arrived each day by UPS and Federal Express, and what was that other one where they wore orange pajamas? Those guys, I remember teasing them about, DHS or something. Oh my God, those guys. I said, you guys coming in here with those prison outfits. Anyway, the delivery people liked us. So, They brought us a lot of stuff that emptied their truck in one stop. That was why they liked us. And I had up to 10 seamstresses working for me at one time. But I trained and enabled other professional seamstresses to make things that were just really entertaining. You know, big swags and theater draperies, and we did the governor's mansion in oh god, I don't know, remember what year that was. But anyway, we've made these great big giant crewel work draperies, and crewel work at that time, and they said it was hand done, so I can believe it, but they were huge. Was kind of like on gunny sack fabric with giant woolly embroidery on it that was very basic, and it looked like a children's drawing is what it did. And it was really spectacular too when they hung it. It was wrinkly and bulky, and they were so big we had to get like 3 people carrying them across the room. I wish I had taken pictures of all that. That was anyway, we did a whole bunch of drapery. So I don't do that anymore. I just do these painting projects and run around here in the Oregon coast of the United States and enjoy not quite being neck deep in a drought. So I'm gonna keep working on this. I'm going to draw another expansion of the dots, and then proceed on. Catch us on the third part.